Hey everyone, welcome back to DSCL. So it is now January 2025, and for the first video of the year, one video I've been trying to make for a while now, but really haven't had time to make until now, is how I installed my WTIU on my layout and how I got it to play nice with the Base 3. So let's get going. So the first thing you'll probably have to do if you're watching this and you just got your WTIU, and it'll probably say so in the instructions or whatever, whoever you got your WTIU from, I got mine from Muffin, that you'll have to update the firmware on the WTIU. And the best way to do that is to go ahead and connect it to your home Wi-Fi. And on the WTIU itself, there is a WPS button. And what you'll want to do is, there's also a switch on the back of the WTIU to switch it from MTH Wi-Fi versus home Wi-Fi. You want to make sure it's on the home Wi-Fi setting first. Then you'll need to locate your router, and if your router has a WPS button also, you'll want to press both of those buttons on the TIU and on your router. And once you press those buttons, they should automatically connect to each other and you should have no problems. But if you're like me and your router is a little older, and while it does have a WPS button in it, for some reason for me it just didn't seem to want to work. So what I did was I went on MTH's website and found the online manual, which I fully recommend you get even if you don't have to do this step. It's just easy to have that. What I did was I went on my phone and I added it to my iBooks library, so that way no matter where I go I have it, even if I don't have my WTIU on hand. And it tells you how to connect to the IP address specific to your WTIU. So what you'll have to do in that case is, if I remember correctly, you'll have to first switch it back to the MTH Wi-Fi and then connect to it that way. Actually, let me double check that and make sure that's correct. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to read exactly what I did to connect it to my home Wi-Fi off of the, let me see if I can get it to focus here, the instruction manual that MTH provides on their website. So first thing you do is attach the antenna to the WTIU, set the MTH/home selector switch to MTH, and that'll be on the back near the antenna of the WTIU. Plug it into an outlet, which of course we'll make sure it's on. Wait 2 minutes for the WTIU to initialize. When ready, the power, Wi-Fi, and track LEDs will be lit. So everything should be on and solid. And then once that's good, you should be good to go. Using a PC or mobile device, I used my phone. Navigate to see the available wireless networks and connect to the MTH DCS XXXX, and the X will be the numbers specific to your specific WTIU. So it won't show up as DCS XXXX, it'll be 1234, 1235, 1236. It just depends on what your specific one is. The network name is also printed on the bottom of your WTIU, just like any other router. When prompted, enter the network key, and the password can be found in the manual. And then once you're connected, connect to the IP address they also included in the manual. And this will open Lucy, which is their version of what Lionel is developing for the Base 3. It's a network management software, kind of. Enter the password, also prevent all these passwords and addresses or anything are included in the manual. Navigate to the network pull-down menu, click on wireless, and then follow the instructions here. It says I'm not going to go fully into detail. So once you've done all the specific settings for your router, switch it back to home on the back of the, well, first you got to power it down and everything, click save. And once you've saved it and turned off the WTIU, switch it back to home on the back of the router. I'm sorry, not on the back of the router, the WTIU. And then go back to the previous page and follow the settings to connect it back to your home Wi-Fi. You should be good to go. So now that you've got your WTIU connected to your home Wi-Fi, the next thing you have to do is update the firmware. And you can do that by navigating through the app, and it should tell you how to update your firmware in the instructions. And it doesn't take too long. For me, it took maybe 2 to 4 minutes, no more than 5. And as long as the device you're using does not go to sleep or anything like that, and it stays connected to the WTIU, you should have zero problems updating your Wi-Fi, your firmware. And one more thing I want to mention before we start running trains and showing how to program things in. The app is free. The WTIU app is free. There are some controls that you can do straight out of the box, but you will have to pay an upgrade fee to run all of your trains like you can with the legacy remote or anything like that. It's not that bad. It's a one-time purchase to fully control everything, including like if you have a AIU accessory interface that's connected to it. I believe it's like a $25 fee or something like that to control everything, including that. But if all you're doing is running trains and you want full control of your trains, I believe it's a $5 purchase fee for that one. That's what I elected to do because my layout is small enough to where I really don't need to be able to control a AIU or anything like that. If you need to do lash ups, you also need to have the full package. And because my layout is small enough to where, again, it really doesn't make, I don't have enough MTH engines anyway to really do a true lash up. The only ones I would really even consider doing a lash up for were my two SW1500s. So right now I really don't need the full package, but I'll probably update sooner or soon at some point. But right now all I need is the mid-tier package. But again, it is a one-time purchase, so once you do it, you can forget about it. It's not a yearly subscription. And I've had my WTIU for a few months now at this point, and I've had not too many issues. I mean, some of it's probably because I'm inexperienced with DCS, and it could be because my wiring really isn't done with MTH's DCS system in mind, and it could just be that it's not wired perfectly. But I've had very minimal issues when it comes to running things. Really, the only one I've had any problems with is my P42, my Amtrak P42. But all my other engines I've had almost no problems with. So now that we've talked about all that, let's talk about how you wire it into your layout. So what I did was, since my layout has a base 3 back there, I have to have the TMCC lock on in order for what I have to power my layout to work. I have one of the GW180 Powerhouse bricks that comes with the throttle. So what I did was I removed the throttle part and I plugged the wire straight into the TMCC lock on, and then that runs to a MTH terminal block that I have underneath my layout that it then runs to all the locations in my layout where I have power drops. And then I have my base 3 over there, and it's completely separate from all that, so that way if I need to take it with me somewhere to a club event or anything like that, all I have to do is unscrew one wire and I'm good to go. But what I did for my WTIU was I took the powerhouse or the TMCC lock on off from those two wires that go to the terminal that feeds everything else, and I put the WTIU in the middle of that. So I have two jumper wires going to the fixed track 1, and then those wires that originally went to my TMCC lock on now go to the fixed out on the WTIU, and then those go to the little terminal block underneath and then get fed out that way. So in terms of adding a new engine to the WTIU, if you're at all familiar with DCS, this should be a walk in the park for you. But if you're like me and are new to the system as a whole, all I had to do was put one of my engines on the layout, and once it recognizes the signal, scan on the app for the engine, and it should recognize it. And click it and give it a number. And I named a few of my engines. You don't have to do that. I just did that just because I wanted to. But once you've connected to it, it should fire right up. So with all that being said, let's run some MTH engines, shall we?
They have the new guy running the show over there. We'd better get going. Local switcher calling Yardmaster, over. Local switcher, this is Yardmaster. What can I do for you, over? Morning, Bill. I'd like confirmation on these orders. After that, you're to take all the Indies on track 6 and 7 and put them on track 2.
All right, let's go ahead. All right, let's go ahead and pull her out. So yeah, that's how I hooked everything up with my WTIU and how I made it play nice with my legacy system. I've had no problems running engines on either loop of my track, whether it's Lionel or MTH. Now that I've added or Atlas for that matter, now that I've added the WTIU system to my layout, and I'm excited for what this means personally for me for my layout. This now means I can run just about any engine I get my hands on. And speaking of getting my hands on engines, I just recently, as recording of this video, received the third rail E7s. I'm filming this right before Christmas, so I got mine a couple days ago. And right now they have the Electric Railroad Company boards in them, and they're great boards for what they are. But the third rail E7s deserve a much nicer command system inside of them for sounds and other things that I can do with it. So what I'm planning on doing is upgrading my 3 engines up to PS3, so that way I can put road specific dialogue, I can put specific trains in them. Like I want to do the Nancy Hanks for one and the Man of War for the other, which are 2 very famous Central Georgia passenger trains. And I also have an unpainted one that I'm going to do special for the SEL. So if you want to know how I do all that and how I upgrade the engines and how I customize the unpainted one, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see videos on those when I upgrade them. And if you want to keep up with progress on the unpainted engine, make sure you follow me on Instagram. Again, subscribe here on YouTube to keep updates on that. And with all that being said, thank you all guys for watching. One of the next videos should be the ES44s, so look forward to that, and maybe I'll do a video on the E7s before I upgrade them. So yeah, thank you all for watching. See y'all.